Well, hello there, my fellow Youpreneurs. Welcome back to another monthly chit-chat here inside of Youpreneur Academy. I'm joined by my very good friend, JJ Virgin.
Hello. Is that whiskey back there?
Yeah.
I just want to point that
Your
out.
eyesight's great. It's bourbon.
Wow. Oh,
It's bourbon. Yeah, that was...
I'm not really sure the difference between scotch and bourbon and whiskey.
Yeah, well, yeah, let's not go down that rabbit hole. I am so excited to have you in London. And everybody knows...
It was a tough sell.
It was like... it was literally... Do you want to come and speak at my event in London? She went, yeah, okay. Literally.
Yeah, and I think
you swapped something out. Didn't you swap something out
I
to be here?
said no to a stage of 20,000 people.
Wow. Just to come
For
here.
you.
Wow.
For you, Chris Ducker.
I love that.
Yes.
Wow. She's awesome. I want to talk. Now, you obviously, you're here. You're going to be on stage at Youpreneur Summit. It's going to be amazing. We batch these whenever we get the opportunity to sit down with lots of amazing people, and then we drip them over the year. So we don't know when this is going to come out yet, but what I will say in advance of her getting on stage is she's going to be amazing. But I wanted to deep dive a little bit more. On stage, you're going to be talking about how you've built this incredible business empire around your personal brand, starting out on TV, you know, on all the stuff that you've got going on. But I want to kind of like dive a little deeper on a couple of like maybe 2 or 3 moments over that career and defining moments and what they led to in terms of opportunities and stuff like that. Is that cool?
Okay.
So I thought we could start with Dr. Phil.
Okay.
But if you want to start before then, was there anything that was really... Oh, hang on. There wasn't there the other TV show, right? The biggest...
That was after.
That was after Dr. Phil.
Yeah,
okay, so where do you want to
Phil.
start?
That's a good place, but I'll tell you, one of the things that happened prior to that helped frame everything that I did, and I don't know how big this is in Europe, multi-level marketing, network marketing.
Oh, it's big, yeah.
So
Nowhere near as big as in the US, but it's big.
Yeah, but I think it's bigger in Asia and the Latin American countries. But I think that everybody should have to do a network marketing company for a year and survive.
Right.
Because a lot of the things that I use to this day were the things that I learned in my brief couple-year stint into network marketing. Yes. So that's sort of the first piece is me as a personal trainer walking down the beach with one of my clients.
Right.
Who was like, "Why are you in school?" Because I was paying my way through grad school, and I'm like, "Because I want to be more successful."
Right.
And she's like, "Huh." She goes, "What are you going to do when you graduate?" I said, "I'm going to doctoral school. Duh, I'll go get a PhD." Now, this woman was a self-made multimillionaire who I don't even know if she graduated high school and grew up in a trailer. And I mean, I don't know why I wasn't connecting any of these dots, right? You know, and so she's like, well, you know, I could actually show you how to do that easier.
Okay.
Yes.
And there, hence the doors opened up.
Those were concepts. Unfortunately, like I actually moved into her house, and she was my Mr. Miyagi. She wouldn't teach me anything until she taught me mindset. So for months, it was mindset training. But after that, she taught me the principles of, you know, duplicating yourself into other people. That if you wanted to scale, you had to scale through either people or technology or tools. And that it was all about scaling, duplication, leverage, and creating residual income. And even though I couldn't figure out how to do that outside of network marketing for a while, the knowledge, it's like once you see that, you can't unsee it.
Oh, yeah?
Once you see that video, back then it was a VHS tape that I put into a little TV set, and it showed people trading time for money. I like couldn't get that out of my head, right?
Yeah. For those young people tuning in, VHS is what we used to watch our favorite films on. Blockbuster, Be Kind, Rewind, all that sort of stuff. Just Google it. You're bloody millennials. You know how to do it. So that's interesting. I didn't know that about you. I didn't know that was where you sort of got your...
You know, it's interesting.
start.
If you talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, it seems that a lot of them have been in some kind of network marketing company.
Why do you think that? Is it a mindset thing? Do you think so? I want to make my own money. I want to get out there and do my thing. Is that what it is?
I think it's because it's an easy first step in to having your own business, because they talk to you as if you're having your own business, but you're really not having your own business.
But you're not, no.
Once you wake up and you go, wait a minute, if I could do this for you, what could I do for me? Which is what happened. I woke up one day and I went, wait a minute. I don't own this.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So from there then, how does that morph into...
Well, so just those lessons were things that were always in the back of my mind. I knew how to do them within that framework. I hadn't figured out how to break into the next framework with them. And so, but I knew that I just needed to get in front of more people. The challenge was I hadn't really set up the right business models to leverage myself yet. But for some reason I thought, if you're just out in front of more people, Dr. Phil, right?
Yeah,
If you're just out there, if you're making impact. And so I finished school. I kept going back to school because in the health world, you need training and education.
Sure.
It's different than some of the other ones. And I was doing some local TV to help build my gym business. I had a gym and nutrition center. And that's when I met a doctor who was on Dr. Phil and said, come here and help us. And so I showed up one day and was there for 2 years till I got onto another show. I got my own ABC primetime pilot and learned my lesson there.
And what was the name of that show?
That one was, it's big. It was big in the UK. It's called You Are What You Eat.
Right, okay.
Never launched in the US.
Really?
Apparently ABC was so concerned about Biggest Loser that they felt like there wasn't enough room in the marketplace, so they just squashed it.
Oh, really?
It's like, great. So I ended up on another show called Freaky Eaters.
I've heard of that.
It's a cult classic
I've heard of
amongst
that.
like 15-year-olds. So anytime I do anything online, they all flood in there and like, I only eat marshmallows. I'm like, you know what? That
This is what I remember this now. I remember hearing some. Maybe I might have seen something on. Is there stuff on YouTube?
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, I've probably
Millions of views on YouTube. Yep.
Wow. So lots of TV time then. So what did you take then from the network marketing world into the TV world, stepping stone wise?
Well, really, the issue there was I didn't, and that's the problem. I was on TV trying to figure out how to monetize this because now I had what's kind of the worst possible scenario. I had the celebrity and no income from it.
And this is prior to like social media.
Oh yeah, there
and
was
all the
no
rest
social
of it.
media.
Yeah.
Heck, most people, like I had a website with no opt-in box, which was what most people had.
Right,
this was back. Let's see. This
Yeah,
was
can we date it here?
2005.
Okay, all right.
So, it was like all this stuff was just starting. And I just figured, if I was out in front of enough people, but I really didn't have any great way to monetize this. I had me seeing people one-on-one. So all I could do was charge more money.
Right.
Right? And so that's what I did. I just started charging more money. The challenges on TV is unless you're one of the top people with their own show, you are not getting paid.
Right. Yeah.
Or you're not getting paid much.
Right.
And so I was working tons of hours on TV, and I was seeing people, and I had this big celebrity clientele, and I was teaching doctors how to sell supplements in their practices, so I'm making money that way. So I was diversifying my income streams. The only real residual was on that other one with the doctors.
Right.
But I was still, I was out of bandwidth. I was exhausted.
It sounds just
It was
hearing the story
exhausting.
from you.
And I had little
personally.
kids.
Yeah.
And I was killing, and I was going through a divorce, and it was just like, I look at it now, I go,
How do they even get through it?
How do you get through some of these things? But the biggest thing that happened was the lessons. I went, I am not doing what I learned to do. I am not creating there is no duplication here. It's all me. I'm not duplicatable. I can't scale it.
Right.
So I've got to do something here to make this.
So what happened? What did you do?
So
This is so good. I love getting into this stuff.
Yes. So first thing I started to do, the first thing you can do, like if you look at what Jay Abraham says, you want to make more money, sell to more people, sell more stuff, sell it more often.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I did was I filled myself up with people. I couldn't sell to more people at the time. I started to, but at first it was like I was one-on-one, which is an important model. Like if you can't sell one-on-one, I feel like everyone thinks that I'll just go online, it'll get easy. It's like not if you couldn't sell it one-to-one. It's not selling. You're not selling to a million people if one person sitting here like this isn't buying it from you.
Yeah.
It certainly is going to be no easier online. It's harder.
Oh yeah.
So the first thing I did was have great proof of concept, right? Then I raised my rates. Then I added products and services. But what I started to notice was I was like, it was just when forums were coming online and you could start to record a call and have it online.
Right.
And so I went, heck, I'm repeating myself. And so what I started to do was take everything I was repeating and give that to them, package it in a program so they could listen to what I was repeating. I just coach them, and then I put them into a forum online.
So they could discuss things with themselves.
With each other,
right,
yeah.
Right,
and then I brought a coach in to help. And then I realized that I could actually do that part with one-on-one. I could do it in a group. And then I realized that group I could have the coach do. And then I realized like I kept pulling myself further out and bringing more and more and more people in. And when I went to sell the Virgin Diet, it was easy because we'd sold thousands of people on the program online for hundreds of dollars to come into a program versus, $20 for a book.
Right,
so when you go to a publisher and you go, I've been on TV, I speak in front of doctors. That was one of my selling points was I go to a medical conference and speak to 5,000 doctors and they each have 2,000 patients. Run the numbers, right?
Right.
But here I could show them that I'd run thousands of people through a program online, spending all this money, and it worked. So that's why that book was so easy to sell.
How many copies are you at now on that first one?
I don't know.
If you had a
somewhere
ballpark?
In the 700,000 to 1 million.
Wow, that's a lot of books being sold. It's a lot of books being
sold. A lot of books. We're getting ready to do Virgin Diet 2.0.
It's the majority of it is just it's ultimately recipes.
It's the first
or a good
book
chunk of it
is
is
2/3 book, 1/3. It's actually the funniest thing with that first book is they're like, we wrote the book and then they go, we need recipes. I'm like, crap, So
Right.
I literally just threw the recipes in that we always gave out to clients. We
Right.
just put them in that book. Then I hired a real recipe writer because I don't
It's an
cook.
art form.
Well, I don't cook. So the way I cook is I'm like, this looks good. Food. This looks good.
Yeah.
So I know what I like to put in, but measurements, when you're writing a cookbook, they go, now, is that a cup of cut strawberries or a cup of whole strawberries? I'm like, are you kidding me? Is that
Right.
4 ounces of chicken breast raw or cooked? And you're like, oh my gosh.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the book comes out. You're selling these courses. There's no real video involved. It's all audio right now, right?
Well, here's the interesting thing with that book. Prior to that book, I had another book. And here's the important thing, and I was just actually coaching. I always promised not to coach my husband on business, but I might have done a little.
Oh, my
coaching
entire
this morning.
team was coaching me on business growth yesterday at our venue. They were all ganging up on me.
She's
Right?
like,
Morgan's
"Truth,
sitting behind the camera
truth."
going, "This is true."
So
Yeah.
no, but I just think that like in a husband-wife relationship, you're just better, just better off. So
Really?
I might have done it a few times in past relationships and blown him up. So that I'd like, he's my keeper. I'm just not coach him. But this morning he was talking about, we figured out his great business model. And it's so good. And he was talking about the book he was going to write. And I go, you know what? You're getting ahead of yourself and the talk you need to do. And what was the title? And I go, you begin with the end in mind. Stephen Covey, right? It's like reverse engineer the whole thing. If you look at the Virgin Diet, it all came from me doing food sensitivity testing and discovering that these foods didn't work for people. And then I figured the whole thing out of what they needed to pull out and what supplements they need. So I reverse engineered the book to take them through the program to use the products, the whole thing. So it worked really well. But prior to that, when everyone kept saying you have to write a book, and I didn't know what the book was. Like if you don't know what your book is, you don't have to write a book.
Right.
You don't have to.
Right.
Write a book when you have to write a book because it has to come out of you.
This is a really good point because a lot of the times, I help people build personal brand businesses. That's Youpreneur. That's what it is. Yeah. And so, if you didn't know, so the thing is, having a book is a really, really, really key part of that, right? Like it's one of the easiest expert positioning strategies out there. But like you said, if you're not ready, if you don't have the book in you yet, if you don't have a genuine plan for the book when it comes out, you shouldn't write that book just for the sake of writing it either.
You shouldn't, which is what I did with the one before.
Okay.
I wrote this book, 6 Weeks to Sleeveless and Sexy. Did you read it?
No, I haven't.
You didn't read it. Yeah.
That's why you don't see me walking around sleeveless or sexy for that matter.
And it's sleeveless and sexy. You have to do both.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we could get you in like a little. No. Okay. Anyway, when I was on TV, they kept saying, "Oh, you have to write a book."
Right.
And literally, I got hooked up with the top literary agents in New York because I was on TV, right? And
It's a good title.
Well, but prior to that, I talked to the agent and they go, well, what's the book about? And I told them, what I do with clients for health. And they go, where's the hook? And I go, it works. They go, that is not a hook. You have to have a hook. I go, why do I have to have a hook? So the sleeveless and sexy came because I was at an event. I usually don't wear sleeves because truthfully, I sweat all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And someone goes, how'd you get those arms? And I would get asked that all the time.
Right.
But I was at a business event. And so I thought, oh, business, book, I should do this, right? And literally I sold that book. I went to New York City with an agent, took off my jacket, was wearing a sleeveless shirt. She said, I'll give you 50 grand. Now at the time I thought like, that was like she was giving me $10 million. Now I know like, don't do that.
Yeah.
That was a bad idea. But I was so excited. I remember walking down the street in New York City thinking I had like, made it.
Like a scene
I
out
had
of a film. We got
New York
music
City,
and everything.
man.
That was so
I got
good.
my 50 grand, not knowing that is enough so that no one else gets the book.
Right.
It's just like my, when I got the ABC show, they give you enough to keep you off the market.
Yes.
So no one else can get. So I launched that book. I had no idea where that book was going. It didn't, it's like it went nowhere. I had no idea how to launch it. I was sure it was going to be a New York Times bestseller. I had no idea how. And I was asking my friends who were in business, be like asking you to promote my book to your list. Like, why would your list?
Totally pointless. Yeah, exactly.
Completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
So it was good. I call that research and development.
There you go.
Because when I was ready to sell that Virgin Diet book, I knew everything not to do.
So then the supplements come along, the
Yes.
bars come along, the protein.
All organic, though.
All
Here's
that,
the thing. I mean,
okay.
not organic and organic. So all organic to the brand, meaning I've been doing smoothies for 30 years. And literally, I could not find a product that had what I wanted in it. So I had to make my own because the Virgin Diet's all about food intolerance. And I teach people because I found where people tend to blow it the most is at breakfast, right? They'll sit down and they'll have a healthy muffin,
Right.
which is a cupcake. Look what it's wrapped in. This is a
Right.
cupcake without frosting. Healthy muffin and a latte, and they'll have a skinny latte,
Right.
right? And
Right.
it's ridiculous. So to me, it's like you just had breakfast, dessert, right?
Yeah.
Dessert for breakfast. So that was so key critical is to have them not bloat at breakfast, to have a smoothie. So I had them start the day with the Virgin Diet Shake. And when I launched the Virgin Diet Shake, which was supposed to be before the book came out, but the company I did it with at the time was 2 months late, which was really a bummer. But it happened to be that I was on Rachel Ray that week and the Today Show that week, and we did a big launch to my list that week, and we sold $500,000 worth of shakes in a week, sold out
Wow.
of everything, and had and the company that was fulfilling them, I told them, I go, listen, this is going to happen. Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
Blah blah blah.
We know better than you. Yeah.
3-week delay. They
Oh
couldn't
my
even
God.
get. They could
That's
not
just the
get. It was like, oh
worst
no.
thing.
And here's the worst part of all. I did not have any customer service set up at the point because I had my girlfriend who worked with me for 25 years. She just retired, but she answered the phone. Right? She had email and a phone. That was
Okay.
it. That was our customer service.
Okay.
That she did part-time. Like she'd get maybe a call a day.
She's helping you out.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I mean, she was doing all the other stuff too. And so we got like 300 customer service inquiries in like 2 days, and that was just the start of this mounting customer service hell because they were late. Yeah.
And but Ingestibles, many years ago in my infomercial world, we used to make infomercials for one particular ingestible, which I can talk about with you off camera, but not on camera, in case you're interested. But it's tough. Like, it's a tough game to be involved with because you've got to get all these approvals and formulas need to be
and
approved
they have to
and
be
everything.
well tested.
Yeah.
And that's where everyone's, oh, that's not, FDA approved. Or like, yes, here's the thing. It's like these things go through this very specific testing that they have to. We just had one held up in testing QC last week because they have to make sure they have to test the batch, test the bacterials, everything. It's a nightmare. And then you have people and then you're sending it to people who are like, well, can I just have a sample? I'm like,
Right.
No, you know, like, no,
Right.
like, you can't. Do you get a sample of the, like, whatever, like your steak at the store?
No,
you
no,
like,
no, no.
just
Yeah.
buy the thing. If you don't like it, return it.
Yeah.
We have 1.4% return rate, which is
That's-
really quite
that's
great.
awesome.
And that's the difference with, honestly, consumables and physical products versus digital, is you have really low return rates. I personally love ingestibles and consumables because if you look at one of the key, most important things in business, it's what can you do that creates, first of all, in health, you have to create consistent habits. Using a shake for a month doesn't do a thing. Using a shake with good healthy ingredients in it every day for the rest of your life is a game changer. So
Right.
you got to get people into habits, which means you do something like a subscribe and save or auto ship. That massively increases the value of your business. It's just like a membership.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons I love things, is I like to sell things once that people will use over and over and over again.
And it's all quality.
And you get them hooked. I learned something really important about this, because when I looked at my business at one point, I went, wow, 75% of my income's coming from supplements and shakes and bars. 20 to 25% is from spokesperson, books, programs. I should focus more on the products, right? Because I wasn't focusing at all on the products. It just happened to be that if you bought the books or programs, within it, I talk about using
Yeah,
all the products.
you were getting upsold, cross-sold,
It was,
whatever.
well, it's like if you're on the program, it tells you use the shake. Then it says, hey, always carry a bar with you, right? So that if you're somewhere and you get stuck, you've got emergency food with you. Make sure that you take your digestive enzymes. So, I mean, it's all within it, and I do it. That's a key thing. If it's, I've never been able to sell something I don't do. I remember I tried to sell a greens powder, and I hate greens powders. I like to eat vegetables. I don't know. Call
Yeah,
it crazy.
eat your veggies, don't drink them. Yeah.
It's just, ugh, I don't like them.
And you really do genuinely do this, because we've spent a
yeah.
couple days with each other
Yeah,
in
you
Toronto.
know. I really
and
do.
she's getting
I
pills
take
out
mine.
every 3-4 hours and popping things before meals and all that sort of type of stuff. And I'm like, she's actually walking.
I actually do it.
Genuinely walking the walk. I love it.
Yes.
Your bars are incredible. You
here we
turned
go.
up. Hit me. That was good.
I wouldn't dare turn up without him.
So she's walking down the corridor on the hotel here. I said, did you forget about me? She goes, I got your bars. I got your bars. You got me hooked on. You call this the
That's the coconut crack bar.
coconut
That's dark.
crack
That is
bar.
so. It's first of all 11 grams of fiber, which is great for your microbiome, which we now know is so important for your immune system,
Yep.
your mood,
Yep.
weight, and then it's MCTs, good for energy. Dark chocolate, amazing.
But
What?
it
There's
just
no but.
tastes bloody amazing.
and it's incredible.
So, yeah, it's all very good for you and all the rest of it, but it really tastes bloody good. For people in the UK,
Yeah,
it's
bummer
like
for you.
Bounty.
Oh.
It's like Bounty.
No, you just told him to eat a candy bar.
No. Hear
Okay.
me. Let me
All right.
finish, darling. Don't.
Okay.
Good Lord, I'm helping you here. Come on. It's like Bounty, but it tastes better and it's much healthier.
We actually just gave them away for Halloween in the United States.
I love that.
That's what we're giving away. We're giving away
They really
dark
are so
chocolate
good.
coconut bars.
She's bought me an entire box. I love it.
But so here was the interesting thing. We started marketing directly to the products.
Yeah.
The products, we initially sold more, and then it started to drop because I hadn't created a relationship with them. See, and this is all
It
about
ended up
that.
being transactional.
Yes, and then
too
they went,
transactional.
well, what else could I see? Could I find another shake? Maybe that shake's cheaper. Well, I'll find other digestive enzymes. When they became fully indoctrinated into Team JJ, what we do, what we use, how we do it, then they stay on the products. If they came for the products, then they're just going to look for other products. It's completely a transactional thing. It's just like, ketchup.
Right.
Who has a relationship with Heinz? Like, who cares?
Right.
You're going to pick whatever ketchup looks like it's got the best ingredients for the lowest price. So I do not want to become a commodity.
No, we don't want that to
No,
happen.
we don't.
No, we don't. Okay, all this is amazing. Let's talk real quick about some of the other bits and pieces that you've done, though, and you've kind of been able to kind of balloon the impact that you have, along with obviously continue to sell product, serve people, et cetera, et cetera. Live event, additional book. I want to dive in the live event in a minute, but additional books. You're still doing the coaching?
So here's what happened. You want to know what happened?
Yes.
Okay, so after I wrote the first book, then I did a cookbook, but everyone kept asking about sugar, so the next book was about sugar. I literally surveyed my list. They told me
Yes.
what they wanted.
Oh, this
I
is
gave
gold.
them that.
There you go. Listen to your people.
Yes.
They will tell
Wow.
you what
All
they
you
need
do
from
is
you.
ask.
Yeah, right?
So, I mean, they literally kept saying, can I have honey? Because in the Virgin diet, it really was 6 foods first.
Right.
Because it's drop 7 foods, lose 7 pounds, just 7 days. It was 6 foods at first.
Right.
But what I discovered was when I didn't pull sugar out, they were eating all this sugar. So
Right.
it had to be drop 7 foods. Plus, the fructose really messes up your gut microbiome and makes you have leaky gut. So they got so blown out about sugar and what about agave and honey? So that's why I wrote the next book. But along the way, one of the challenges I had is I kept going to these marketing conferences. Like, I love marketing business conferences.
Right.
I love them.
Yeah.
And there'd be like 2 or 3 health people, 500 people at a conference, 2 or 3 health people. And I thought, I was in a little event with Jeff Walker. And Jeff Walker said, and I was asking the question, I always think, go out and ask the right question, you'll get the answer. My question was to Jeff, how do I 10x my business? How do I do it? He goes, well, 90% of your business should come from partners, from affiliates. And I go, well, that's great, because about 10% of my business comes from it, so there it is. But I don't have any, because when I go to these business events, just like I told you, you can't write a health book and say, hey, it doesn't fit. You've got to have consistency of message.
Right.
So I needed to have other health people. And I'd always had as a side business where I would go teach doctors how to bring nutrition into their office. So I knew tons of them, but they weren't out in the field with me. I started getting them to come to the marketing events, and I started having little lunches at the marketing events. That turned into its own whole multi-million-dollar business. I never intended it to be.
Wow.
It literally was, I was going to Brendan Burchard's, and I brought a bunch of friends. At one point, there were more people that I brought in than anybody else. And we would start having these lunches. Then we're like, we should have our own, we'll just have our own event. So we had our own event. It was 12 people, 20 people, 40 people, 60 people, 100 people. Now it's 600 people. And what's really cool about it is no advertising. You can only get in if someone referred you. You have to hit a certain number of points in your business, meaning you have to have done books, TV, speaking, so you have to be already expanding.
So this is really like the creme de la creme of the creme, all in one place,
Yes.
all because of you and your team.
All because of that initial couple people in a room.
Yeah.
And they told their friends,
Yeah.
and they told their friends.
Yeah.
But what was cooler than that, and here's the thing that was so important to me. Early on, when I was first walking down the beach with Kay Smith, and she's like, why do you want to do this? Well, I said, I want to help 1 million people get healthy. Here I was, a trainer and a nutritionist working one-on-one, and you saw what it did for someone's life. So I was like going, how do I help more people? How do I help more people? How do I help more people? Boom, I'm on Dr. Phil. Right? Ask the right question. 13 million people. So I'm like, check. The only problem was I didn't attach income and impact. And so after I did the 13 million, it was like, all right, well, how do you get to 1 billion? You don't get to 1 billion yourself. If you look at it now, I figure I'm probably through Mindshare in the, we're somewhere in the 200-300 million that we've been able to help through that group, and well on our way to 1 billion.
Yeah.
And so that's what's to me super exciting is moving into B2B. And the only reason it really worked well for me is I'd proven it myself. I'd already done the consumer, and I'd failed forward fast, right? I'd done so many different things, so many different business models that's easy for me to coach. And I also have mentors in there that coach with me. But what's fun is the amount of impact and the amount of income you can make in the B2B world, it requires so many less people. It takes me 20 times more people and 5 times more team to make the same amount of money and impact, right, in the B2C world. So I like them both.
So, okay. So to wrap up, what's the one thing that you love doing day to day more than anything else right now in your business? One thing. Just the one thing. Day to day. I mean, I see you Facebook living all the time. You must enjoy that.
You know what I love the most, though? What I really, really love the most is business models. What I really love the most is sitting down with someone and really helping them see a bigger vision for their business, like
Yes.
helping them really see where they could be,
Yes.
and then modeling how to get there. That is ultimately, to me, my most favorite thing.
I love
Second to speaking.
Good girl. I love this.
I had to
It's
speak
going to
in
be.
the second.
You got to get the speaking stuff in. JJ Virgin, everybody, go check her out. Particularly if you want some of these because it's so good.
Crack.
It's the crack bars. We'll be back at you again next month with another chit chat here inside the Youpreneur Academy. Thank you so much, my love.
Oh,
It was
thank
great
you.
sitting down with you. Bye bye for now. Gonna go and eat this off camera though because it can get a bit messy.